Hello, everyone. I guess the countdown didn't want to count down. Welcome, everyone, to another Trauma Talk Tuesdays segment on the topic transitions after divorce. Welcome, everyone, to another Trauma Talk Tuesdays segment on the transition. Alrighty. So let's jump on to it. This is your freedom coach, Natasha Miller, and freedom ambassador, Helen, here to chat with you all. And we are freezing up.
I know.
Oh my. We freezing up. We kind of glitchy, y'all. Let's pray for the technology.
Right?
Alrighty. So as we start, want to talk about one of the things that came to mind as I was thinking about this topic, transitions after divorce, is one
Hmm.
of the realities of divorce, which
Okay.
is the experience of death. Like there is a part of you that have died because you're coming out of this oneness relationship with
Yeah,
this other person, this most intimate relationship in your life. And that's very devastating. How do
it
you
is.
move on after experiencing a form of death while you're still alive? So, yes, the floor is yours, Miss Helen. Let us know what that whole experience, and then like what are one of the first steps to even move from that devastating place?
Well, it is devastating indeed. It is a major separation. And it depends on how long, you've been married, how devastating and deep it can go because it's a cut. It's a deep, deep cut. Your whole life has completely stopped and you're starting a whole different life immediately, pretty much. So it takes you by surprise. It takes you aback. It is a trauma. It is devastating. It is painful. And it could be, lasting, long lasting if you're not in the right frame of mind, if you're not in that position to want to heal and want to overcome. So, transition to another state of being is a mindset to actually want to change, to actually want to live, actually want to overcome and succeed in life and the rest of your life because you still have to live. You still have to go on. So for me, there was many stages of transitioning. You go from being married to not being married. Then there's the financial. Then there's the living situation, and on and on. For some people, there's children, small children involved. Unfortunately for me, that my children were grown. So, but then I have grandchildren. So now you have grandchildren that are also transitioning. So you have all those life altering things just because of a divorce. So you have to figure out how you're going to move on. The first thing you have to do is accept it, that this is happening. This is happening to you, but it's not only to you, it's also to your spouse, but then it's also to your families, both sides of the families. There may be other family involved that are intertwined there, your friends, your co-workers could be involved, your church family, whatever entities that you guys are in as a couple, everyone is transitioning with this divorce. So it's not just you alone. So you have to put yourself in that position to say, okay, this is happening. So what do I do about it? And then collect yourself to move on because you have to continue to live. Don't stay in depression. Don't stay in a state of woe is me or whatever your state in that's negative. Don't stay there. Want to always come above that and get over that so that you can move on and live because you have to live.
Awesome. Okay, so Miss Helen just gave us the first two steps: acceptance and collect yourself to move on. Give us a couple of tips of collecting yourself to move on. What does that look like? How can we make that a little practical for someone that may be in this transition now, in the season of
Okay.
transitioning after divorce?
For collecting yourself, you have to really be honest with yourself. be honest with yourself. You have to say to yourself, what do I need to move on? What is it that I need the most? Do I need support? Do I need to call on the Lord Jesus only? Do I need to go to counseling? Do I need to self help? What do I need? So you have to really figure that out. That's going to help you best. For me, I needed counseling and I knew it right away. So I did seek out the right type of counseling. You want to make sure that it is the right counseling for you. So do your research if you don't know offhand, where to go or who to go to, because it may not always just be spiritual. It may not always be just from, the hospital or the clinic. You may need two types of counseling. You seek out what it is that you need, but you have to be honest with yourself. And if you have someone that is really close to you, that it's tight knit with you, that knows you, I mean, that really, really knows you, they may be also be able to help you to consider who to go to help you to reset and get yourself together, that you can continue to live on. Because you're going to have to heal through this process. You're going to have to think clearly through this process. You're going to have to breathe through this process. You're going to have to hold your emotions sometimes. So it's just different levels of things, but you have to have the right people, the right person there with you to guide you through. So that is one of the things on my top list that are very important.
Awesome. Awesome. Assess what you need to move on and be honest with yourself with that assessment. Now, instantly, what I thought is something that you don't need to move on. At least not right away. Okay. Okay. All right now. So, because some of us people out here, we think that we need another mate to
No,
move
no,
on, and
no,
yeah, we don't want to be moving on too quickly to
no.
another mate.
No. To me, that would be last on the list. Basically,
I need a
because
man to move on,
you
girl.
need to you need to heal, and you don't want to take anything from one relationship into the other relationship. I mean, what if there's a trigger of some sort, that's going to get you upset because of they've done something the former person has done. You don't want that. So you want to kind of just heal and release yourself and get to know you as a single person all over again. Try that first before you move on.
Right, right, right. Mhm. Mhm. Because I know what the people thinking in the back.
Yeah, that's my thing. I said to myself and I said to the Father, I said, I don't want anybody right now. Let me heal. Let me know who I am all over again without somebody else. Let me do that first. Especially since it was such a long time that we were together. So yeah, let me get to know me all over again.
Right, right, right. Yeah, and that's very important. That's key, period. Because I know in the beginning, when we were really talking about how divorce can be devastating because it's like a part of you has died. You
Mhm.
become one with this person, and the magnitude of that internal death depends on the amount of years
Yeah,
behind, the history in that making. And so, but this is the thing when it comes to transitioning after and really collecting ourselves to move on, it doesn't matter the amount of time. That's
no,
not something we should move on to right away.
no,
Something else in that
no,
hot seat. Okay.
no,
Okay. All right.
no.
I just
One
want to
of
make that clear. 'Cause you know how
Right.
we
Make
be.
it clear. One of the questions that really solidified that for me, that my counselor had asked me, he said, who were you before you got married? And that was just like a big, huge light bulb that went on. Yeah, who was I? So let me find out who that person was and see if I need to regain that person, or what part of that person do I need to regain so that I can move on and live and be happy and be comfortable with me, myself, and I all over again. So that's something you really have to think about. Let's pause for a minute. Let's chill out for a sec.
And I love that. I don't know if you all heard that. That was a good key component. Who was I before I was married? But she said, let me assess, let me think, what parts of that person do I need to regain? Because there may be aspects and components of you that's no longer useful to your journey from this point moving forward. But there are some things, maybe you put down a hobby, some of the things that you enjoy doing, gardening or different things like that. Maybe you come away from those things that gave you peace, that gave you joy, because you became so consumed with the responsibilities that come along with marriage. Then that would be something to pick up. But certain things we don't want to go back and pick up. This that needs to stay back there.
True.
We're a whole new person now with new
Yes.
experiences, and so that's a really key component. Even when we're reflecting, we want to make sure that we're grabbing things that's going to continue to add value to who we are today, and not
Yes.
anything that's going to pull us back into the pits of our past. Very excellent point. Okay, so let's talk about some of these transitions. We've talked about, the first steps. We have to accept the fact that this is happening. We have to take a moment to collect ourselves and be honest with ourselves in assessing what we need to move on. So give us some insight as to the various transitions in moving on after divorce.
Your first major transition outside of yourself is financial, because now you've come from a two income household to one. So now you have to learn how to live with just your finances. Yes, in some cases there's spousal support, there might be child support, but what if there isn't and there's just you? You have to transition with that. You have to reconcile with that. You have to adjust all your financial responsibilities. The next one would be your living space. Are you living in the same household? Are you living somewhere else? Are you living with someone else? Those type of things also need to be taken in consideration. Am I still working? Am I not working? In my case, I wasn't working. So, mine went way down. So I had to think about, what am I going to do with myself? Because I have to do it. If nobody else can do it but me, so I have to do it. So what is it that I need to do, and how am I going to go about doing it? The other transitions could be if you have children. So now you have children that will live in two households. How are you going to deal with that? How are you going to deal with the holidays and birthdays and all the other celebrations, and then the different kinds of family? What are you going to do? Property. What are we going to do with this property? Are we going to sell it? Is somebody else going to keep it? One or the other? What are we going to do? Are we going to rent it out? Are we going to split the money? All these things have to be taken into consideration, all while you're going through the process of divorce. And that could be very, very stressful and painful, because your house, your home, and your children hold many, many memories. And those memories are fading away. But hold on to the good ones. Let me say that. Hold on to every good memory, because that will help you, that will keep you, and that will hold your peace in your heart. So please hold on to the good ones, okay? But sometimes you're going to have to let something go that you really don't want to, but that's part of the process. And in the long run, God has something better for you. Always remember that. He's got something better for you.
Hmm. This is good. So now, after we've heard about these four transitions that we got to focus on, y'all see how moving on to Mr. Somebody Else may not be up in this, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Okay.
Entangled. That's a different kind of
We got too much to
entanglement.
focus on. Okay. But okay, I'm done with the jokes, y'all. We got this is a tough this is a tough topic, so we got to bring some humor up in here, okay? Because I know it's very devastating. None of us get married with the intent of divorcing,
Right.
and so when we get to these critical transitions, the financials, the living space, the children, and the property and assets, like this is when we know we're at a place of reality. We're really moving in this direction, you know. So oh, and this is a good question. I'm gonna pull up in a second. So yeah, so that's when we just want to kind of lighten it up and stuff because it's tough stuff, tough stuff. So what I heard while you were speaking, because first you said we have to accept it, and then you said collect yourself, assess what you need to move on. And when we're assessing that, when you're thinking about things that you put down, some hobbies and things that brought you peace and joy, when you're thinking about possibly needing counseling and things of that nature, those are the things that's going to help you mentally, spiritually, and emotionally to actually navigate these transitions of figuring out the finances,
Yes, it
determining the living spaces, how are the children going to be, going back and forth, and what are we going to do with our property and assets and things of that nature. So that's why those first steps are very critical because it's putting things in place that will help stabilize you in your emotions because there'll be some highs and lows throughout the days, but if you have that support system, some things that you can do for yourself, some people that can help you, whether it's a close friend, and a counselor. We gotta have a sea of support going through
right,
something like this. And
right.
then when those emotional peaks happen, then you have that support to help you maintain clarity in the midst of this roller coaster experience. And
Yes,
then we're able to navigate through it in a more mature way where we are cherishing the good memories as we're letting go of this relationship, which is so devastating. So here is a question from Miss Lisa. How do you help the family members transition? Excellent question.
that is a very good question. You have to go by their age appropriate response responding to that to each one. But you really the best way is to be honest with them. Be honest with each and every one of them. Tell them, this is what we're doing. We're going through divorce. We're not getting along. You don't have to be, so honest that you have to tell every single detail, but at least let them know that we are separating. And because we're not getting along, it's not healthy. Most of the time, that's what it is. It's not healthy. And this is the best thing for us that we can come up with. It's going to be painful, it's going to be hurtful for a minute. We're going to walk through this. And if you are a person of faith, we're going to pray about this, and God is going to see us through. He's going to walk us through this. You're going to ask, questions, open the floor up, and let's have a dialogue about this. Let's really dig into this. Let's see how you feel. Let's see how I feel. How can we help each other transition through this? The other thing you want to do is to also make sure that your family members are okay. The one thing I really did not like about those type of things is that people sometimes they take sides, and I don't agree with that at all because if you love both people, stay in love with both people. Don't take sides. And, if there's something that happened that's wrong, yes, that's wrong. You can address that the way you want to, but don't take sides. There's only one side, and that's God's side. So take God's side and love each member. Don't put them off. Don't put them on the back burner. You may tell them how you feel or whatever the case may be. You could tell them you're hurt, you're disappointed. Those kind of things, that's fine because you're being honest, you're being real, but don't put them away. That's your family, and you should love them. You should always love your family regardless of what happened. Even like I said, even if they've done something wrong, you still love them. You support them in the best way that you can. So with your family members, just up a dialogue, and again, depending on their age range is what you say and how you discuss the matter with them and how honest you are with them. Don't tell a lie, but some things everybody don't need to know.
Mhm. That's good. That's good. So to help family members transition, communication is key. And it depends on the age of those members as to how you would communicate this new reality. And advice to those of us who are on the sidelines witnessing, those of us who are the family members, we don't take sides. Let us not add more fuel to this fire. And basically we don't want it to be a fire. So we want to
Right.
do our part and continue to treat both individuals the same with the same compassion that we had prior to their decision to divorce. So those
Exactly.
are excellent nuggets, golden nuggets for all of us because we're witnessing these things all the time. So the next thing, because I think we pretty much done wrapped this up, but there's one thing I'm like, how do we that witness give us a tool on how to even if it's like from a distance. So say we've gone to a wedding and we were really endorsing this union. We saw the anointing over this couple's lives, and in our minds they're going to be married forever. And then some years down the line, they make this decision, and it's like, wait a minute, what's going on? And even so, after witnessing some prophetic words spoken over their life and how God was going to restore them, and yet they still decided to make a decision to divorce. How can we overcome that type of devastation? Because I've honestly felt that way with a couple of married couples, and I was like, man, I feel like I need to
You
go to
are not
counseling with them.
alone.
I'm devastated. What
Yes,
what happened? Why?
I was going to say that. That's devastating to you as well. I really was going to say that because it is, because you believe that wholeheartedly, you take that
Mm,
in. So it is very devastating. And the best thing to do, or well, two of the best things top on my list would be don't judge,
mm,
leave that to the Lord, and go to God. Pray to him and tell him about your feelings. Tell him how
right,
you feel about it. Some of us, and it happened with me. Some people were very upset. They were devastated and angry and all those things. And people came to me sometimes and they're fussing at me and they're going off, and I'm just sitting up there like, they're like, "What is wrong with you?"
wow,
Like, calm
right,
that person
right,
down. So
yeah,
you've got to talk it out. You've got to be honest with yourself. Don't hide your feelings from yourself, and don't hide them from
right,
from the
right,
father. He already knows. So have that conversation with him. But your feelings are real. They're not going to go anywhere just because this happened. Those feelings
mhm,
are real. But again, love both parties. Continue to love them. Pray for them. You know, constantly keep
yeah,
them in prayer because they're going through something that is totally new to them, and it's new to you and everyone else. Pray for yourself while you're going through it. And another thing I want to say for the people that are getting the divorce and the family and whoever is just really tied up in it, take time out for yourself. Take time out for yourself. Go out and walk in a park. Soak in the tub, go get a massage, treat yourself, take care of yourself, keep yourself healthy, eat right, drink your water, all those things. Don't wallow in anything. Don't let it sit. Yeah, you can mourn, but don't stay there. Get out of that.
mm,
That
mhm,
don't stay there because that's going to tear you down and bring you down and not equip you for the battle. So you want to
right,
be up on that. You want to be rested. So get your rest. All those wonderful things, pamper yourself every now and then. Just, take a day, take a 24 hours and just woosah. Forget about
right.
everything and, think about yourself and healing yourself and getting yourself right for the next day.
Mhm. That's excellent. So, what I'm hearing throughout this entire conversation is how to look at divorce a different way, how to handle it a different way, and really how to maximize such a devastating event, traumatic event that's a form of death, because it's like a part of self is dying in these two individuals, and really change approaching it with more compassion, taking
Yeah.
the opportunity to maximize something that's so devastating, but yet make it a pleasant journey by responding with compassion. And that's what I hear. And even for those of us who are the ones that we were supporters, we may not necessarily be family members, but we were at the wedding and we believed in this couple and we were, rooting them on. And so a part of us felt devastated as well, like, man, things of that nature. Let us embrace those feelings, like Helen said, but then also, even if we feel led to have a conversation, let us be in the right space to do that. Because
Yes.
of how she said some people came angry and things of that nature, that's not the right space. Because then how can we have a conversation to get an understanding, to gain healing? Because that's basically what we're all looking for. We're looking for resolution. We're looking for some type of communication and exchange in that communication that'll bring some relief to the pain that we're experiencing as a result of this divorce.
Yes. Yes.
And that's that. So we want to be in the right space to have these conversations, knowing that the goal is for all of us to experience another level of healing from
Yep.
this trauma.
Indeed.
Mhm. Yes.
Indeed.
So this was wonderful. I love how this really just opened up the dynamics of transitions after divorce, reminding us that is more than an experience that's happening with the two people that are married, but it's happening to everyone that's
Yeah.
attached to those two people. Even if some of us are attached to these two people from a distance, we now all, in a little inner circle. We don't go to the little gatherings they have and stuff, but we admire them. We watch from afar. It's like it's a whole sea of people that's in the transition as well. So we want to always operate with compassion and know that what we're all looking for and what we all want is healing from this
Yeah.
painful experience. So, yeah, any closing remarks? I think we done covered it all.
I
Anything you would
don't have
like to
any
say?
closing. I think we did it all. I think it was well. I mean, they got questions. I'm sure they'll ask later on in the comments. But yeah, just keep hope alive. No, just love, love, love. That's my thing is love. God is love. And if God is in you, you got that love. Show it. Use it.
Mhm. Mhm. Yes, yes. And love doesn't mean that we won't feel pain. It doesn't mean that we won't be angry. It doesn't mean that we won't experience devastation. But it's how
Right.
we channel those emotional responses so that we can continue to maintain connection and compassion in the relationships with one another.
Exactly.
Mhm. So we may need to journal first to get all that rage out, and
We
then
might.
be able to come and approach a person to have a conversation, be like, I feel like this and I feel like that. Well, how are you feeling? That type of thing, to really
Yeah.
allow the Holy Spirit to come in and heal our
Yeah.
hearts.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Journaling
Mhm.
is your best friend when you're angry.
Right. Get all that out first,
Yeah, get it
okay?
out first.
and then
Oh,
and then talk.
yeah, yeah. Oh my goodness.
Yes,
Yes.
indeed. Because we want to always have conversations with purpose. That's what
Yeah.
we do as people of God. We have purpose whenever we have an encounter with one another. So there's some things we may need to do individually while we in our own space with the Lord to get all that toxic stuff out. So then
Right.
that we could come with a sense of vulnerability and really get to the root of what we're dealing with in the matter, so the Holy Spirit can come in and heal the wounds of our heart as we
Hmm.
have that experience. Iron sharpen iron. Healing the
Yes.
wounds of our heart is a
Yes.
result of those experiences. Okay.
Yes. Amen. Amen.
Love it. All right. So let everyone know um, where to find you, how to connect with you. You all can reach out if you want some coaching to have intensive care with your inner healing journey from traumatic experiences, even if it is a divorce or anything else. You can contact Miss Helen. She does one-on-one coaching and really will help you guide you through that inner healing journey from your traumatic experiences. And one of her niches, her primary focuses is divorce because that comes from her testimony. All
I
right.
just,
So let Miss Helen let them know how to find you and connect with you so they can get some intensive care from you.
yes, indeed. You can reach me always on Facebook under my name, Helen Gill-Smith with the hyphen. You can also reach me at my ministry email, which is Dare to Heal Experience, and it's at dthexperience@gmail.com.
Awesome. DTHexperience at gmail.com. All right. Thank you all for joining us to those of you who chimed in live and to those of you who catch the replay. This is your Freedom Coach Natasha Miller and Freedom Ambassador Helen Gill Smith signing off until next time. Peace and freedom to you all.